Of course, we have our business one listed in this. Of course, you guys already started to do an introduction. So I think a lot of stuff that we need to discuss after the fact. We give you about 30 to 45 minutes if that's okay to handle.
Sure.
So the in-house stuff, we'll be able to go and get a little bit more discussion after Dennis says, since he's already here.
Okay.
Someone intended to bring the donuts, but that's okay. So without further ado, I'm going to let Mr. Dennis go ahead and get started and whatnot. Like I said, and we'll get into some house cleaning things after that.
Okay. So,
Okay, you want to sit?
No, yeah, I'm good. Whichever you comfortable. You should stand and walk around anyhow. So.
All right.
Would
you hand these folders out? Got some cheap tchotchkes for you.
If you need to project anything, then.
No, I'm good. I just had my computer just in case I needed to wait while you guys were doing your meeting. So you hand that down. All right. Then you go one. Everybody.
okay, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one for you. And pens.
Oh, yes.
Everybody likes Scribbles Church.
I got it. Yes.
All right. I'm with WCS Funding Group. We are a local lender. We are what's called a correspondent lender. Does anybody know what that means? A correspondent lender. Okay.
I do know.
What a correspondent lender does is we fund, underwrite, everything's done in-house from origination to funding, and then we sell it off to our investors. Investors are M&T, SunTrust, Wells Fargo, GMBC. But everything, we underwrite everything in-house, so we're responsible for it. Because of that, and we're a small company, we're very agile. We can we guarantee a 30-day close on our 203Ks, streamlines, and I'll get into that. We guarantee a 30-day, and on the full, a 45-day. We don't just do 203K loans. We do conventional and FHA mortgages and VA as well. But one of the things, which is a very nice product, especially considering right now, is the 203K. And in fact, I'm closing one today where the person puts 3.5% down, but when it's all said and done, once the improvements are done, the house is going to appraise at a point where really, essentially, they're going to have like 10% of equity in the house, which is a very nice selling point because you can tell somebody, you put 3.5% down, that can evaporate very quickly. I don't know if they would tell them that, but, or you can do it this way, make it the house you want, and actually wind up with a little more equity in a better position. Okay? If you open up the folder, on the left side, it just kind of gives you the process. You know, how the anatomy of the origination of a 203K, and then behind that it just says, "I want to market your foreclosures or distress listings for free." And we'll do that. What do you know about the 203K, how it works, or any questions you might have?
Well, we actually have, because I'm a 203K consultant as well.
Okay.
So we do try to update our agents. In fact, we're doing a class on Saturday about, getting them more in tune as to how it operates, because we actually will physically go out to a property on Saturday to do a breakdown.
Okay.
That's part of the training here. But by all means, you remember you got the spot.
When you have those classes, if you want, I'm more than happy to come in and help out. I mean, you're a consultant, so you know it all in and out, and just kind of give them a lender's perspective, give them a consultant's perspective, and that way they can marry those two together. This little formula just kind of gives you an idea of what you can do with a 203K, and that's where we say you can turn this into this. I mean, he literally, it's not like a lot loan where you would actually buy the land and build the house. It's not for that. We don't have those kind of loans. Hi, how you doing? However, as long as there's a building envelope or a slab there that runs a house existing, you could literally get the 2 or 3K loan, buy a bulldozer, knock that thing down, and rebuild the house. You can't put in a new pool, but if there's an existing pool, you can use the loan to fix it. A lot of people, I think there's sometimes a misconception, maybe Johnny can back me up on this, it's not always just for a total blown out rehab. You can simply just update. You want to buy new appliances, put new carpet in. You can do that as well. And one of the things I like to tell people as far as a selling point, you can make it the house you want. Not only like that scenario I just gave you where you can walk in with you can end up with more equity than just a traditional put 3.5% down. let's say you have a house that hasn't been touched since the '70s, got the shag carpet, the harvest gold for the kitchen and whatnot.
The pink
You
bathroom, the yellow kitchen.
You can, exactly, you can update all that, and you can use a 203K. And it'll broaden your search, like when your customers are looking for a home and they see something and they're like, wow, you know, that's a nice house, it's livable, but it doesn't appeal to me. Well, we have a solution for that. Now, if you have homes that are listed, we will offer a free inspection. A HUD consultant will go in there and do a write-up at no cost to you and tell you at minimum what the house needs to meet FHA standards. And also, as a part of that, I thought I had a pre-inspection report in here, but I will email it to all of you. You will get actually, there is a report right there. I'm so thankful. You'll get what it'll do is go in there and tell you at minimum what needs to meet FHA standards, and also give you a list of kind of ideas that you can also use. Update masonry, putting kitchen cabinets in. Now, those prices he puts in there are estimates. You don't have to use those estimates. You can use any contractor just as long as they're licensed. But what they'll do is they'll go in there, they'll do the inspection, we'll give you a copy of that report. We will post that property as a preferred property on our website, where it has thousands of other agents will see that. Also, we have a radio show, 105.7 The Fan. You can come on and be a guest host or call in and showcase one of your properties with free advertising. We do this, I mean, and it really is free, just like the HUD consultant. We have an agreement with the consultant, we'll go in there and they'll do it at no cost to you. They'll also hang a sign on your realtor sign that says the home's been pre-approved for 203K financing.
10 what?
Excuse me?
What's the
105.7, it's at the bottom of my business card as well.
Okay.
And then you have me all the time. You know, unlike a bank, and I'm not knocking banks, but a bank loan officers are normally from 9 to 5, 9 on Saturdays, maybe 8 to 2. You have me 24/7, except for Sunday, except for extreme emergency. I need one day to
Stress.
you just to get our mind together, you know.
Exactly.
But so you have that. So you have a question, you have somebody who needs to be pre-qualified. You send them my name and number. I'll pre-qualify them. I'll walk them through the process. Any questions so far? There are two different kinds of 203K loans. You have a streamline and a full. And what the difference is a streamline is for repairs. Now they say repairs for $35,000 less. I say actually $29,800 less. And here's why: because there's a 15% contingency that's added to that amount. What that contingency is, and the contingency is also on the full, is for unforeseen circumstances. You bust out a wall, you realize, wow, there's much more work here than what we anticipated. If the loan and everything goes as well and the house is repaired and you don't use that contingency, the borrower doesn't get it back. It goes as a principal reduction on their loan. But so the streamline is $35,000 or less, non-structural. Nothing structural, there's a streamline. The full 203K is $35,000 or more and things that need structure. And that also, the full, the streamline doesn't require a HUD consultant, the full does. And what the HUD consultant does is he's more or less the eyes and the ears of protection for the customer to help them get the, make sure they're getting everything addressed, FHA wise, make sure that the contractors are using are properly licensed and approved and what they're doing. And also it helps the borrower give them ideas and the best way to proceed. Sid, how you doing?
Oh, man.
So that's just kind of a difference on both of them. And in this example, it tells you how we can turn this into this. It tells you different things that you can use. The 203K for, the process of the 203K. Supposedly you can, like I said, the limit on the 203K streamline is $35,000. However, you can go over that by $8,000 when you're dealing with energy efficient improvements, such as windows, appliances. They have to have a little Energy Star on them, so you can exceed that by $8,000 for that. And that's nice if you have somebody's title money or you have somebody who's like environmentally conscious. And then it just shows you some of the eligible repairs, update decor. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't always have to be a full blown out rehab. You can just simply paint, carpet, update the appliances, handicap accessibility. If somebody's older, might need to put a ramp up. And it just doesn't have to be for a purchase. You can do it as a refinance. And one of the things, if you have a customer or a client who absolutely feels their house is still worth what it was worth in 2005, and watched the news in the last 5 years, you can suggest that we can refinance it, update the house, and then we can relist the house with the updates, and maybe that'll help you grab, you know, a little more as far as what you think the house is worth. Plumbing repairs, electrical repairs. Like I said about the pool, you can't build a pool with the 203K, but if there's an existing pool, you can go ahead and get it fixed. You can't put a fence in with a 203K, but if there's an existing fence, you can fix it. On the streamline, the little one like we like to call it, the work has to be completed within 60 days. On the full, you have 6 months, and when you have somebody who's buying a house, and if it's a major job or a major construction job, we can finance 6 months worth of mortgage payments into the loan. So that way they're not paying rent and paying mortgage. Okay? All kinds of little things. On the streamline, we can do, this is something we started again, they stopped, now they're starting. We will allow a half withdrawal at the table. Before, the contractors would have to wait 30 days before the first draw. Now we're allowing a half draw on the streamline. So that's good too, because a lot of people like to get paid. You know, most contractors want a third down, a third halfway through, and a third to final.
Right.
But different things, structural alterations, you can use that for the 203K. You can redo all the house, just like the scenario I gave you about. As long as you have a building envelope and there's an existing house, but you can take that house out and put a new house. In Baltimore, there's a lot of old, like I call them chicken shacks or coops along the water. And they're nice, it's a nice plot of land, but you know, the house is from the 50s and doesn't have any of the amenities. Well, you can use this loan to tear that house down and build a new house. You could actually use that house to pick a house up from one area and put it in another area. How it works, as far as how we work up, how you come to the amount of loan, you have your base price, the as-is value, and then you have the after-improved value. And those two together, we can go up to, whatever that total is, we can do it for 96.5%. So the customer comes to the table 3.5% down, but that 3.5% is not based on the purchase price, it's based on the whole loan amount. And also, one of the things that catches title companies and some loan officers is when you're doing transfer taxes and you have customers splitting, which is very normal in Maryland, you split the state, the county, and the dock stamps. That's fine based on the purchase price, but the 203K, the improvement amount, the customer, the borrower pays that full amount. That's not split between the seller and the buyer. Ineligible repairs, tennis courts, gazebos, bathhouses, commercial uses. The 203K, they talked very much about it being expanded to investors, and they have not done that. It's for a primary purchase only. And you can be a first-time home buyer. It's not a problem. Minimum credit score is 640. I suggest my borrowers have at least 1, and I see 2 months of reserves in the bank. So I always tell them to try to keep all the assets in there. You know, don't spend a dime until you close. So what happens is you have a house, it's listed, have a contract. Once that's done, you sign the contract, we're going to send an inspector in there and do the inspection. And then we have, if you don't have contractors, we have contractors already approved, but I know you guys already have a lot of contractors. We're going to want to see the contract bid because we need to send that to the appraiser so he can go ahead and do the as-is value and then see what's being done and then give you what the approved value is. Any questions so far? Let me ask you this, where would this apply in your lives as far as having one of this type of product?
Some of the HUD homes that are on the market.
Yeah.
And even some of the foreclosures that we, you go in there sometimes and all the appliances have been ripped out.
Scorched through, I don't see it doing that.
Oh, okay.
They're rolling out, they're taking the copper.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Right, and that can be used, all that can be used for this. Any questions? Anyone?
We just got another pool.
William Curtis Stenham, that's our owner.
Stanton.
Stenham. Yeah, that's the owner. He's been doing this for over 20
Oh, they
years.
just don't have soda product?
What is, now, this is a 203K, and like I said, it has a lot of applications. If you have a customer you know, you're not sure, and you can call me up. I'm always accessible. I got my business card in there. If the customer has a call, you know, even if I don't do the loan, I'm not like, oh God, I'm not doing the loan, I'm not helping. You know, I believe in goodwill. I really do. So if I help you out, when it gets around, eventually that's going to come back around. So you have somebody there. If you don't understand it, you can call me. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to find it out for you. Or I'm going to tell you I don't know the answer. I'll try to direct you to the best place to go. I just want to be a resource. I want your business. I will do, if you have open houses, I will come to the open house and sit there with you, keep you company, and approve people on the spot if they need it. Like if you're going to have meetings or classes, I'm more than happy to do whatever I can to earn your business and help you guys increase your business.
What is your name? I'm sorry.
Oh, my name is Dennis.
Dennis
Cool.
Trayon.
Trayon, you have a business card?
Yes.
Okay, can I have it? So, that's the dog and pony show?
So I guess the main question that I always present to our presenters and whatnot, you know, we have other lenders come through, in fact, we got another 203K guy, lender coming in another 2 weeks or whatnot. Give us the added value that we should use you opposed to other guys that's coming through. You know, we don't mind letting anybody to do it, to do their presentation and whatnot. But why should we go to you opposed to others? What makes you stand out, or what makes you, what's the added value?
Sure, I got you. Guarantee close, we'll guarantee that we will close it. The streamline in 30, 45 in the full, complete access. We know what we're doing, that's not to say nobody else does. But we've been doing it, we have our act together, so to speak. We are a small company, so I'm not a broker. You know, my underwriter's right downstairs, so if I have a question, I can get an answer very quickly. And I've just found that I'm surprised because you think it would just be common sense or just basic practice where doing a lot of the work up front as far as income, credit. You know, a lot of people will pull credit report, look at the credit score, and that's it. They won't go deep into that. And there's a lot of things that can be buried in that report that can, like a disputed account, that can wreck the whole loan. Just because, even if it's zero and it's paid, if it has the word dispute on it, that'll wreck the whole loan. So I'm just very thorough. Because we all pretty much have the same thing as far as the rates, as far as the program. So you're right, then it comes down, outside of that, what separates. And I'm always successful.
And I like the idea of the, well, I'm sure we all like the idea of that closing 30 days, especially when you deal with 203K. You know, because Sid and I both been involved with 203K over 17 years. You know, and we've seen our headaches and plus some and whatnot, and it's very rare to get them closed in a timely fashion.
What normally causes that there? Because there is a caveat to that guarantee, obviously.
I think one thing we always talk to the agents about in here is the more upfront we are to preparing this buyer for what's taking place or whatnot throughout the whole process. Throughout the whole process, the easier it's probably to get that loan to go to closing in a timely fashion and whatnot. But on the other end, my issue's always been on the lender side. You know, because not all lenders are created the same, and especially when you deal with 203K or whatnot. And all the lenders I've ever dealt with, those are the ones that I oftentimes have the most difficulties in doing their thorough follow through. Because I guess in a sense, it's more involved when you're dealing with 203K opposed to some of the other loan products people have out there and whatnot. And a lot of people pitch the pitch that they can do it. But at the end of the day, as a consultant, a good 80% of my time is correcting what a lender didn't do or should have done, that I'm playing the lender's part in the field and throughout the whole process. No, now if an agent's not involved in it and they don't know the consultant side, then now we have a dead deal. So a lot of deals that I was a consultant on, because I didn't take that extra step to play the lender role or helping this buyer or the agent role through the process or whatnot, oftentimes I see it fall on the wayside, and me as a consultant don't get paid at the end of the day.
Well, our consultants get paid at the door. We don't, you know, if you have a deal where the borrower's tight, you don't have the money, we might ask the consultant, can you take half and you can have it closed. But why, my question is, as far as the consultant cleaning up the lenders, give me a for instance, because normally the consultant is the one who guides, you know, the borrower and the lender saying, here's what needs to be done.
Correct. Well, for one, before the buyer even come out to the table to meet with the consultant and whatnot, I'm finding oftentimes the lender's not really educating them in what to be expected. They might not break down and saying, okay, you're gonna need your fee when you come to the table, when you come meet them at the door. You know, they don't have no type of expectations and I'm finding that not as much as lately because everything is a little bit tighter now. But again, the bulk of the deals I see fall by the wayside is that the lender didn't take the their approach up front to make sure they're, you know, because I had, did the lender say this, did the lender say this, did the, no, they say go find a consultant and get a write-up or get an estimate. You know, they don't even know why they're calling me.
That's, and I hear stories like these, obvious, like, wow, that's so obvious, why is it not done? And usually what separates us from them, I guess, something like, we do what's obvious, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll go out to the consultant, I will go to the appointment when they do the house.
Okay.
We like to actually have the consultant meet with the contractor. We try to line that up, and we try to get that all lined up, because it's much better if we get them all on the same page. Communication is key. I'm very good at updating everybody. So that issue you talk about, that issue can be avoided by A, preparing your customers. Like I was telling Gail when we were sitting here alone, I said, the message needs to be consistent between the agent and the lender. Like tell the borrower when you call the lender, have these documents ready to send them. And some people are like, well, I don't know why that is, because we can have a look at. There's a lot of things that you see that we look at differently. But like in that situation, I tell them, here's what's next. We're approved. Once you get the contract, we get the consultant out. Here's what the consultant's going to do. He's paid at the door. Okay. And sometimes I will go out there and meet with them, and just so we're on the same page. But the biggest thing is trying to get the contractor consultant. That's key. A lot of people don't do that, and it's such an obvious step.
Well, I mean, and on our end, and that's one thing we offer here, because we have the contract and we have the consultant on site. So we typically go out, Sid and myself, if other people on the team, whatever, to help expedite that process as well.
And it helps.
And some other things that we try to offer, which you alluded to earlier, and we were having a discussion this morning about the pre-inspection. Now we are just now starting to look into that fashion. So that might be something we can look into a little bit more in detail, especially when we do our conference thing on the 9th or whatnot, because that's one of the things we're trying to offer them. Somewhat of a pre-inspection before they really get that delve that deep into the buying process.
Offer who the
buyers.
That's good, because that segues into the next point about that. Because I have borrowers, I have this one in particular, and I said, I don't want you to get an inspection on every house you look at, because you will go back to you're looking 30 homes at $375, $400 a pop. And people want a sense of guarantee, and I think a lot of lenders don't want to be honest in a way, and I'm not saying trying to cheat them out of something, but being honest and saying, there's no guarantee, but here's the best way to approach it. And once you get that contract, once we have that, then we're going to send the consultant out there. Then you're going to know exactly. And then if he comes back and says the amount of improvements well exceed what the house will ever value, then you know better. You're out $400, but at least you're not out thousands of dollars. But yeah, like you're saying, the expectations, we tell them exactly. This is what the consultant does. And on the streamline,
we were trying to advocate them to bring the consultant back in on the streamline as well.
We encourage it.
I think it's imperative.
I think it is. The consultants we use, it's like he'll do an inspection. You can get a regular home inspection, but if the HUD consultant does the home inspection, for about the same price. Actually, in the one consultant I use, it's actually less. He's going to be far more thorough than the appraiser or that inspector is going to be. I mean, I'm closing with 203K today, and that HUD consultant is far more aggressive as far as going through everything. And I agree, he serves to educate and protect and guide them, because otherwise. So I always encourage them, and most times they'll take it. I tell them exactly why that's why. So they're not in the dark, but they shouldn't be.
Because it could be a stressful event if you're not familiar with dealing with rehab work.
It's a nice program. It's not as scary as it used to be. You've been doing a lot longer than I have, so you probably remember back in the day, talking 17 years ago. It was from what I understand, very convoluted. And just.
But it had more.
It scared people.
It was more investor friendly back in the day. I was involved with the case that really flipped that when they said case in D.C. where it was like a $300,000 job or whatnot, and they paid it was an investor buying for his daughter, so they took the money from the draw inspection instead of paying the contractor, went and bought a car.
Oh, good.
So stuff like that used to go on all the time, and then they had to revamp that whole process, and it was some crazy stuff.
It would help out if they would expand it to the investors. Obviously, you could mop up a lot of these foreclosures. But it's a nice product, like I told them, as far as, the customer can wind up after it's all said and done with a lot more equity, make it the house they want. It gives you a sales tool, even if, I have listing agents say, well, I don't need that, I'm not dealing with the buyers, but they're listing the house. And wouldn't you show your client you're more resourceful, saying, none of this, I have something else we can help you. I'm gonna do all that I can. It promotes you. I'm gonna do it all I can to help you sell your house and maximize.
And that's another thing we offer here as well. We do try to, when we get a listing, try to do a HUD report for each of our listings.
Right.
So when the buyers come in, they know what to expect prior to them even putting in the contract.
That's a big advantage that you are a HUD consultant, because you can go to the house and say, you know, this is exactly what we need. A lot of agents don't know, because they don't deal with it from day to day.
Correct, correct.
I will send you a list, because there's the 3 S's, safety, soundness, and sanitary. These are the things that you can look out for in a house, and I'll send you a nice little attachment I have, what FHA looks out for, kind of give you an idea. So when you're listing a house, or when you're taking a buy a house, you can see, what's this house need? What could be a potential problem? And there you go. Questions, answers, comments, insults, whatever.
Dennis, you still have my email address, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
You mentioned that, I wanna market your foreclosures and distress listings for free. Can you expand on that?
Sure. That's the pre-inspection. So let's say you have a listing, a house that it has to be listed, and you said, I have this house listed. We will send a HUD consultant down there. They'll do the report, and you see a copy of the report. That we will take that and give you copies of those. We'll put a little sign on your sign saying this has been pre-approved, and then we'll put that on our website. We have if you go to my website, you'll see preferred properties, and it'll be listed with other properties where other agents see it. And then also, as far as the radio show, you can come on to a property, you can talk about that property. So that's how we help you market for free.
Okay.
And we don't charge you for that.
How much airtime do you get on the radio to talk about the
The show is for 1 hour. It's a 105.7, so you have like 5 or 10 minutes.
property?
You know, and that's really all you need.
Monopolize the whole hour.
Right.
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes of our time on radio.
Right, because out of an hour show, what do you get? Like maybe 45 minutes, really.
Right, because it's commercial.
Yeah, but 5 or 10 minutes you can go on, and who runs our show is Michael Becker, and the underwriter's on that show as well, which is really nice. That's another thing too. If you're having these classes, I can bring my underwriter down here
That's a beautiful
and
thing.
answer questions, and
Okay,
she's
that's a
very
beautiful
good.
thing.
So we offer that as well. We do all we can, because if we educate you or help you answer questions, you know, I need your help as well. I don't know all the ins and outs of marketing a house or listing or selling a house, and I don't report this, you know, so if we help each other out, eventually I think it all works out.
I think it's a good fit too, because we are doing what we call a home buyers club. We have people join us and come out the classes once they join the club once a month. And we have different speakers and presenters come in to give them the whole buying house process, if you would, and whatnot. And oftentimes, very rarely will you get an underwriter to come out and talk to anybody, let alone talk to the buyer. So if that's the added incentive you guys have, and of course we want you to be involved with some of the seminars that we're trying to put together, but not. That's a big plus.
Yeah, and we can do that. I would love to be a part of your seminars. I mean, I know a lot. I don't know as much as the underwriter, but I've been doing this a long time. And what I don't know, like I said, I will give you an answer. If I don't know the answer, I will say, hey, here's where you might want to go. You know, we don't do it all, but we do what we do it well. And we just don't. I don't want to be typecast into 203K. That's something we do it very well, but we do the conventionals and the FHAs. And like going back to some of the things we can help you where our lender doesn't. We are a lender, but like a big bank, let's say you have like a disputed account. Why that's such an issue? That's something that's been on the books, by the way, for a very, very long time. It's just something you never really enforced until now. We can have that dispute removed from the credit report within 5 days, where if you have the borrower removed, it can take up to 60. And they will not close a loan with a disputed account. Why it is, I don't know. We can do 20% down on investment properties, on condos.